I can hardly believe in myself. Seriously, you know, the years go by and you don't even feel them or see them, and you just do it. You know, in the early days, I would say that I did it because I was angry and I was driven by rage because I had lost so much, and now I've come to realize over time that love and loss are intertwined, and you can't have one without the other. And my life has been, you know, made so much better by striving, by leading with love, by, as we say, and as we really practice, leading with empathy and practicing mercy and providing safety. So I'm, you know, just completely at such a different point now. And I want to start by thanking all of you for being here and sharing this with me, and sharing, you know, sharing this accomplishment. We did this together. So many of you were with me in so many battles, and I have nothing but utter admiration for your courage and for your convictions. And you know, we don't always have to be, you know, triumphant. We just have to be the little engine that could, and each of us are little engines that can and can do so much. Especially when we are, you know, we have to be strategic too, and I've learned how to do that, or we learned the hard way. A lot of my colleagues and friends are not here, and 31 years is a long time, and I just want to address that really, because I want to tell the future. I want to talk about I want to tell the young people here, you know, and hopefully you will be the future for, and see that it's possible to change the world. We fought against, you know, punitive prohibition. We really did change the world, my friends and colleagues. You know, today you cannot, in good company, really, in respectful company, say other words that are full of stigma, whether it's regarding who we love and how we choose to experience alternate states of mind. And we have a deep respect now for that, and acknowledge that there is much to be gained from allowing that and for respecting that. And that happened because many of you here in this room were leaders in changing and fighting against those narratives. And and all of you who are young can pick up that and take and move forward with it, because there's so much more to do. I want to acknowledge the folks who aren't here, and in particular, I want to acknowledge my partner in good trouble, Bart Mayor. We're growing old, and the people that we love are also growing old, and that means that the end of their journeys arrive. And my friend, partner, lover, you know, is in Holland right now preparing to lead his, you know, his elder brother's cremation. So it's and you know, my board chair is in Puerto Rico, you know, dealing with his 89-year-old mother. And there are a lot of friends who aren't here because they've grown older and life happens. So young people in the next generation, there's so much for you to do. And I want to make sure that you, I want to hopefully get that we have to work, we work together. When we work together, we do great things. We don't have to get along, you know. We're not going to get along. You can't. You can't be a leader and get along with everybody. You got your own mind. You got your own ideas. You know, happily, we're in a moment that we can respect when women can have their own mind and when women can, be powerful, because it's such a real uphill battle, right, when a woman is independent and there are ways to diminish her. So great for all the wonderful, powerful women in this room. In particular, I want women who I admire, like Barbara Ciccatelli, who I love deeply. But, she's such a role model, and I admire her deeply and love her deeply. I have other colleagues here. If I don't mention you, it's because I'm older. I know you could see that. But all my members of the Benefit Committee, I want to thank you. Underweiser, Jeff Underweiser, Michael Brady, Jose Calderon, who is such a dear friend and colleague and that we know for so many years. Barbara and Mr. McPhail, thank you so much. I'm having a moment of sheer trying to figure out who else I'm missing. But if you, after hours, a colleague, I want to just thank you. Your boss is a wonderful man, and give him my regards. Joe Turner, who isn't here, much love to him. If I haven't mentioned it, we have my distinguished guest, Mr. Marcos Crespo. State Senator Sepulveda, Assemblywoman Cespedo, help me, Septimo, sorry. My board member, Michael Brady, thank you for your support. Our awardees, do we have the best awardees? Stephanie Comer, who I'm going to introduce in a minute, and Frankie Miranda, que te quiero, mi amor. And of course, I couldn't, I thought that what Tish James did was so utterly fantastic to get from Big Pharma, You need to focus on those big drug dealers, damn it. Stop focusing on a nickel and dime, right? Stop focusing on the nickel and dime. I still have a lot of rage in me, but so I won't, we need to really, really focus on, ending this drug war and ending, we will never, ever in our communities, ever grow if we don't refocus our politics so that they stop preventing the creation of wealth in our communities. I'm sure I spoke more than my 4 minutes, and I think I have to introduce our first awardee. So I'm just going to go and tell you. Our first awardee is Stephanie Comer. I chose Stephanie. Let's give her a big hand of applause. Oh, 1 second. I didn't thank my children. Sorry, got to say that. You can't be a working mom, coming home and take care of kids and take them everywhere in the world and not realize that even though that they are your biggest supporters and champions. And so today, of all my 5 kids, I have my daughter Celeste and my son Timothy. And Celeste is my needle exchange baby. And Jonathan is there on my other. And the only time that I ever missed, and I shared this with others, syringe exchange in 1992, was when I had to give birth. And so Celeste was born 4 hours before my 9 o'clock session at 139th Street. So this is the only day that I couldn't. But she was with me the whole time. And next week we were there, and my mother and my grandmothers and my sisters and my incredible matriarchal family, that God bless them and the God has blessed them because they bless me. All right, so I am so honored and humbled to introduce our first honoree. You know, since the beginning of this battle, challenging the state to protect the health of everyone, of all its people, funding for syringe exchange has been a real huge issue. You know, even after significant evidence that syringe exchange programs work, there's no public funding still, federal funding directly for syringe exchange. And there's one woman who changed that, who really has saved more lives through her compassion and her charity and her generous heart, and that's Stephanie Comer. I met Steph, so please everyone. You know, Stephanie pulled together this ragtag group of idealists, activists, researchers, you name us. There were about 22 of us across the country, and she paid for us. She created a think tank that was called the National Harm Reduction Working Group. And for 2 years we met, you know, she paid for it all, and we really created really work to conceptualize what a praxis of harm reduction would be. And how could you develop an evidence-based practice and implement it and evaluate it? And, you know, and not just, it wasn't just so much science as much as it was so grassroots oriented. That was what was core to it. And we had wonderful times and big battles, and it was really one of the best years of our lives as harm reductionists. And we created the harm reduction, the National Harm Reduction Coalition in 1995. And Stephanie did that. And after she did that, to this day, she is still funding small programs across the United States to provide syringe access, something that the federal government does not do. All right, so she is such a huge hero and such a quiet hero. And, you know, so we want to really appreciate, you know, if foundations put their money where it really matters, we'd have a different world. And Stephanie has done that. So Stephanie has saved thousands of lives. And unfortunately, she can't be with us because she too has also older family members that require her attention. But she did send us her acceptance speech and her remarks. And we are going to present her with a beautiful first Grace Award as soon as it gets here.
I'll get it.
Oh. And just to tell you, you know, it takes a woman to understand curves. All right? Okay, so this is a woman's award.